But at this juncture, we are taking you to Parliament because the Parliamentary Select Committee on Transport is meeting stakeholders in the transport sector to find ways to curb carnage on our roads. So let's cross over now for that meeting. I'm Noella Karinyali.
Documentary claimed that the driver of the VIP had not been paid by the insurers or the owners of the coach. And then we also heard that the driver said he has not received anything. Since I'm here and it's been shown to an August team, select committee and my seniors, I should also put the version of VIP on board. The driver had been in employment 4.5 months whilst the accident came about. The owner of the coach died in January 2017, Chairman 1990. So the executors of the owner of the bus caused payment of 20,000 cedis to the gentleman. And then Drivers Welfare Fund also invested 250,000 cedis, of which they used 16,000 cedis to buy him a car he uses as at now. Then also he was given the opportunity to ply a trade on the land of VIP in Kumasi, Abinchi, as at now. He is in charge of all drivers' welfare issues that come about. And after the documentary, the wreckage was passed on to the family of the owner who had died in January 2017. So the family then was paid insurance relating to the damage of the bus. Misunderstanding ensued where the driver thought he should be given part of that compensation for the damage to the bus. That was not resolved amicably. So he went to court for court to compel the family who have just received the wreckage and the insurance compensation to give him part of the insurance package. And the court said no. You are not entitled to that part of that amount. Notwithstanding, after the documentary, the head of the family, Mr. Kwabena Usu, has confirmed to me, for which I confirmed to the gentleman, that they are prepared to make further payments to him. So they even requested how much, and then the gentleman said, oh, I should discuss with the family whatever amount consummate after all these years he would accept. And the gentleman is very close to the wife of the deceased. So they take care of him. So the idea of misleading the pained public who watched the documentary as if VIP did not do anything for him wasn't quite accurate. That is what I would want to say.
Chairman, I want to ask Adakabre a question. Adakabre, I want to find out from you. VIP, do you have a policy? You have an arrangement? You have an agreement in respect of accidents? You know how you take care of your accident victims. Do you have a policy which, when accident occurs, you explain to victims? Do you have a policy like that?
Yes. VIP has a policy. Thank you. VIP has a policy that all buses are comprehensively insured. So in the unlikely event of any accident, the insurance policy come into play. And we do take care of drivers outside of the insurance policy. As I mentioned, that drivers' welfare. We have monies that is paid for drivers' welfare, and in the unlikely event of any driver suffering, he received a separate payment from that of the policy that covers the coach.
So the floor is open. The floor is open. I saw, yes.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I think in 2009, we met at Engineering Center. We discussed about what is happening on the road, that the transport owners will contribute some amount every year. At that time, we made it as the cargo trucks will pay 40 cedis for every year. We come to conclusion, we all will agree. But after, the matter has changed. That is why we came here, I think it's about 3 years ago. We come and meet here. They changed what we discussed at the engineering center. Now they have brought a new one which we don't know anything about it. Formally, we know that everybody will pay some small amount if you go to DVLA to change your white paper road weight. So you pay something. Through that one, the company, the towing cars, will get their share. But after, they change and say that if your cars fall on the road, because some of the people say they won't pay. Those who knows that their cars is small one, they say, oh, for me, if my car fall, I can push it here. I can take it out from. But we, the cargo people, we can't push our car. It's a big. And even the buses, the VIP, they can't push it. So we agree for the first time. But after, I think they go through and see that if only they can take only the cargo trucks and the rest won't pay, they won't get anything. So they changed the agreement. They said if your cars fall on the road, when they take the car to their place, their parking place, and they don't have a parking place. But the day we met at the engineering center, we will make it that they will make all parking place on the road. From Kumasi to Accra, from Accra to Aflao, every place, they will get some parking place. Even driver, if you drive and you tie, you can go and park and get some rest. Even if you tie or something like that, they will find some organizer. That is our first agreement. They will find organizer, everything. But now after, they didn't do anything. And then they start saying that if your car spoil, they will take the car and park. 1 week, if you didn't come, they will sell the goods in the car. So I asked them here, is the goods belongs to you? You didn't buy goods. How can you sell somebody's goods? Because you towed the car. So you have right to sell the goods? No, that is not right. And then they said 1 month time, if you didn't come, your car will be sold to somebody. Then if nobody buy that car, they say it's old, they will cut it into pieces and make it as a scrap. I say, oh, why? Did you know how the person buy his car? You know? So any government come, he is trying to help his people to stand on their feet. But you have come to saw that you are coming to cut our feet so that we sit down. Because if you take my car and you cut it, scrap and sell it, what time, when am I going to get another car to work, to look for my children? So that's the problem, which brought all the thing collapse. You see? But it's true. We all know that we are losing a life at any time. Any accident, then you hear about 10, 15, 20 lost their life. It's not fine. If only we can get a good things or what we will do to stop that is good. But the main point, you see the road we are using, we get independence since 1957. This road is the road we are using. By then the population of the country is about 5 to 7 million. Now we are about 30 million. And the same road we are using, there is no any change in it. If we are crying that people are dying, when we go through, we will know that it is the road. He is killing us. Because if you look from Nkoko, the bypass, there is no any face-and-face accident. In Sawam to the end, from Accra, there is no any face-and-face. But where the single road is moving, it is that place we had face-and-face killing people. Why? We don't try to tell the government. Try to find, I talk about this several times. If somebody can do about 20 miles or 30, the next when somebody come to try, we will get gradually to get good road. But in this small road, and we are saying that we want to save life. Yes, we are trying our best to save the life, but it will be it's hard. When you look into the video, you see some cars are lying. There are many. Then somebody will come out overtaken. You can take about 3, 4, 5 cars. You see, because of we don't have good road. If you have double road, these people will take outer line, and the other one will take the inner. We'll go free. So please, if only we would try to save the life of the people, we are saying it in our heart. Let us tell the government to find our good road for us. That will help us. Because anything we will talk, anything, if only we are on this single road, talk, or let's go.
Thank you. You see, we don't have too much time. So, at least I will give a maximum of 2 minutes. It shouldn't be more than 2 minutes. If you want to say anything, please say it to me. So if I heard what Alaji said, Alaji, you are saying that the compulsory towing levy, initially you agreed to it, but when they decided to change, let's say, the agreement to a different one, that is where you kick against it. So it means if they are to go back and bring the old agreement, you are okay with it. Is that what you are saying? Yes. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Ibrahim Musa is my name from JAP2 Ghana. Yes, we also, in principle, believe that the mandatory towing policy is something that would offer us some considerable respite from this carnage on our roads. We also want the assemblies to look at the manner in which the sides of our roads are given out for containers and other commercial activities to occupy. Because we believe that the design or the engineering of our roads by itself doesn't offer our drivers the opportunity to veer off the road safely when there is an issue. Because the sides of these roads have been taken over by some of these commercial activities, and the assemblies, maybe for their internal revenue, whatever, are friendly to that. But we think that could also be used to help us, deal with this situation. Also, we think that when we go into the dynamics, the pricing and all of that for this mandatory towing levy, will it be possible, this is just, I'm pleading, will it be possible for us to consider using parts of the vehicle income tax that we pay to subsidize whatever premium or charge we have to pay for the towing services? And finally, I think with respect to the dual lanes, that is accounting for a number of the head-on collisions, can we do some thorough audit of these dangerous sections of our road and see if, for a start, we could dualize those aspects alone as we move forward? Then incrementally, subsequent government can work to stretch this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Chairman, thank you. Pardon. Hello. Yeah, Chairman, thank you so much. I think the issue of the towing issue, as you rightly mentioned, it was defeated because of lack of consultation. So I think maybe going forward, in principle, everybody agrees, but we have to do a lot of bigger consultation with the stakeholders so that we can understand the proper way of going around it. Quickly, let me move also to the issue of numbers that are dying on our roads. I just want to plead with the select committee, if it's within their means, to look at the tricycles we use on our highways. The tricycles on the highways is really a dangerous issue you have to look at. If you see this motorway and you see tricycles riding on the motorway, how do we compete with tricycles on our motorways and our highways? If it's something that we cannot stop them entirely from operating, let's then limit their operations to the inner roads and the hinterlands, so that it doesn't conflict with other traffic on the highways. That's one of the major causes of accident. When you are driving behind them in the evening, there's no light behind their trucks. Some of them don't even have proper lighting system, and you just come face to face with them, and trying to avoid them also will lead to another thing. So I think we have to look at this, and I think enforcement also should be looked at critically when it comes to matters like this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Chairman, you were attributing the accidents mainly to speeding, overtaking, breakdown vehicles. In fact, I must say that I was part of the committee that worked on the mandatory towing services. I stopped talking about when the people who matters decided not to understand the whole project. But we have come up with a policy, and the policy is saying that if you tow your vehicle within a week, you must make appearance. If you don't do, there's a consequence. If you don't come after a month, and I think these were plain languages that everybody should have understood.
that once your vehicle has been sent to a particular, you must follow up so that the plate do not even become choked. So there were all measures that were put in place so that we can get this system running. But again, because of one change of government, people mindset and everything also changed. That is why we were not able to put this policy into a working. But I think we can revisit it again and see. People also forgot about the investment value of that project. That you don't just pay the money. Now the policy as it is in the law, when your vehicle breaks down, call for a towing service. Where is the towing machine? Where is the vehicle? Somebody must bring the vehicle to the system before you can call them to come in your aid when you are in need. But somebody has to pre-finance, and these are all factors that was taken into consideration during the preparation. The speeding on our roads, Mr. Chairman, I believe we have policies that are not really working. It's the individual ownership of our commercial vehicles. It's a major factor to the speedings that we are having. Because out of these numbers and the video that we viewed, how many STC vehicles were involved? There were virtually none, because the drivers there are comfortable, they are secured in the work that they do. I have my 4 stations that are working, but I don't own any of the buses. Same to VIP and other transport companies. The drivers don't have security in the work that they do. All that they look at is how to make ends meet for the day. So this is a policy that I would believe that if we can take them up and look at how can we make our transport systems secure enough for the drivers to work there. Anybody who is in a civil servant don't really always care about their lives, because they know they have a social security at the end of their service. But if you're a driver, you attain 60 years, you go home with nothing. So I believe going forward, some of these policies should be put in place so that drivers will be secured in their future. Another thing that makes the drivers also speed on the road and everything is about high cost of investment, high cost of interest on the loans. You are given a vehicle from a bank, and you have to make a daily payment or a weekly payment, so huge that the driver cannot even rest. But as I've said, he doesn't have the security, so he must force himself. Even when he's tired, the car owner sitting home is demanding money. So these drivers don't rest. They are always on speed so that they can make ends meet. So please, if you can look at our interest on loans and also the car owner arrangements that we have in our system, I think it can also help. But last but not the least is the dualization of the road. When these incidents started happening, we have been in a lot of fora, but it appears we don't have a clear-cut policy from the government when it comes to the dualization of the roads. And we are saying we are the transport operators. We have had a series of meetings with our drivers. But when it comes to West, when we are following about 4 or 5 trucks on Kumasi highways, the least opportunity you get is to overtake. And that is what is causing the accidents. Please, we want a clear policy from the government that between these 4 years, at least Accra, Kumasi, Accra, Takrady, we will see improvement on the dualization of the road. Please, this is our plea as transport operators. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My name is Anatosi from OE Travel and Tours. My suggestion would be to try and force all commercial drivers to join an association or an organization. This would help us regulate the transport industry in its entirety. Currently, it would be very difficult for us to even know the number of buses or the number of vehicles on our roads. That in that data collection, which should be the first step in regulating or making policies, it's not even adequate. So in my situation, I would plead with the government to help enforce, even though we know most of our vehicles are privately owned, but we should force them to join an organization in that sense or manner, be able to proper sanitize policies that we can enforce. Thank you.
I would have been grateful if we had been given an agenda of today's meeting that would enable us to prepare quite a bit so that our contribution can be enriched by our preparation. But then I want to draw the Select Committee's attention to 4 or 5 things. 4 or 5 things. One, I think our focus should be on training and refresher courses for drivers, riders, and cyclists. This training happens in many parts of the world. Periodic training, refresher courses are given to these people, drawing their attention to these things that we see. Some in their locality have no idea that this is what happens on our road until they appear in those vicinity, and then they are engulfed with these challenges. Second, the committee should look at the technical specification of the vehicles that we buy into this country. Construction, the technical specification that can reduce the injury, especially to the occupants, and the type of materials and type of parents we should do to be able to ensure that when accidents do happen, we can take away the amount of injury that we suffer today. We can do that through the technical specification. Then investment into technology. Now many countries like China and others are investing into technology on the vehicle and the road. Now the idea is to make sure that the vehicle talks to the road and the road talks to the vehicle, so that you take the human being out of this largely. That's why vehicles can be driven by nobody. The driverless, vehicles, because the vehicle is talking to the road and they are behaving expertly as if it is a human being that is driving them. Now, technology can enable a driver to, even if a driver is sleeping, technology will wake him up that you are sleeping. A technology will wake the driver up by the road. If you cross the marking that you are going to another lane, it will alert you. So I'll be grateful the Select Committee can look at technology, and this will form part of our technical specification design as a requirement. Then I am thinking that there may not be a real need to pay any levy for this towing. But then insurance has increased their prices. They are paying so much for third-party and comprehensive insurance. 2 to 5%, based on calculation, should be charged or tasked. The insurance companies should take this burden and take 2 to 5% of whatever we have paid to them and pay to the road safety unit to be able to tow our vehicles when they break down. I want us to look at it and engage the insurance company whether they can be of any help in this area. And finally, the enforcement of mandatory speed limit. The law says how much we should drive on the roads, but nobody really enforces it. So some, even though the vehicles come with a speed limit, they have taken it away because they want to make a little more trip. They want to be ahead of the other people. So eventually everybody failed to use the speed limit. So we'll be grateful if the Select Committee can look at these areas and then focus attention, so we'll see if we can make some improvement in the next year, that by this time maybe the crashes and other things may be reduced a little. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think my colleague has said it all. For STC, we enforce the speed limiters. Our buses, you cannot drive beyond certain speed limit. And that is what is helping. Then the training, we train the drivers. Yearly we do two types of trainings. We have it for our drivers. I think that as stakeholders, we should try and then enforce and encourage training of our drivers yearly. If not once a year, I mean twice a year, at least once a year you should do it. Now the issue of the removal of vehicles on the road, I think there was a stakeholder conference in 2017